The sky above the alien world was painted in colors Ethan had never seen before. It was not like Earth's blue sky. This one had streaks of gold and soft green clouds. Moving slowly as if time itself was slower here, Ethan Core stood on a ridge of black stone, his boots sinking slightly into the damp surface. His suit hummed softly, filtering the strange air so he could breathe. He took a deep breath anyway, trying to feel the place. This was his mission. His purpose, to step onto new worlds and understand them. The ship that had brought him here. The Orpheus rested in a clearing behind him, its silver hull reflecting the alien sun. He turned to glance at it, feeling comfort in knowing it was there. He was alone, yes, but the ship was his lifeline, his only link to safety. Beyond the ridge stretched a lush valley. It was filled with towering crystalline trees, their trunks transparent like glass, and their branches swaying gently even though there was no wind. The ground shimmered with bioluminescent moss, glowing faintly with each step he took. This place was alive in a way that made him feel small, but also strangely welcome. Ethan activated the recorder on his wrist device. "Day 1, he said. Quietly, his voice steady. "Planet appears to be stable. Oxygen levels are safe. Flora is unlike anything I have encountered. I will continue my survey." He began to descend the ridge, his movements slow and careful. His mission was simple: explore, record, and understand. But the further he went, the more he felt like someone, or something, was watching him. The feeling grew stronger near a cluster of the crystal-like trees. He paused, scanning the area. His helmet sensors showed no large life forms nearby, but his instincts told him otherwise. He turned slowly, hand resting near his sidearm, just in case. That's when he saw her. She was standing at the edge of the trees, half hidden in their glowing branches. At first, he thought she was part of the forest. Her skin had a soft silvery tone and faint patterns that seemed to shift like water under the light. Her hair flowed down her back like liquid gold, catching the strange sunlight. She wore simple, flowing fabric that blended with her surroundings. She looked young, but there was a grace to her that felt ancient. For a moment, neither moved. Ethan took a cautious step forward. "Hello," he said, his voice calm. "My name is Ethan. I come in peace." She tilted her head slightly, studying him with large, luminous eyes. They glowed faintly, like the moss beneath their feet. She did not speak. He raised his hand slowly, to show he was unarmed. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. "I'm just exploring. Who are you?" Finally, she moved closer, her steps light and silent, like she was gliding rather than walking. She stopped only a few feet away, her gaze fixed on his face. Then she spoke, her voice soft but clear, carrying a musical tone. "Your name," she said, her accent strange but understandable. "Say it again." Ethan hesitated. It felt like an odd request. "Ethan," he said slowly. "My name is Ethan Core." The moment the name left his lips, everything changed. Her eyes widened in shock, and she stepped back as if he had struck her. Her hands went to her mouth. Trembling, "No," she whispered. "That name, it cannot be." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" "It's just my name." She shook her head quickly, closing her eyes as if trying to block out the sound. Her breathing grew shallow. "You should not have said it. That name is forbidden here." Her words sent a chill down his spine. Forbidden. His name. How could that even be possible? "I don't understand," he said, keeping his tone calm. "Why is my name forbidden? What does it mean to you?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she pressed her palms together, as though in prayer, and whispered something in her own language. It was rhythmic and soft, like a chant. When she opened her eyes again, they were filled with fear. "You must leave," she said firmly, her voice trembling. "If the others hear that name, they will not let you live. Go back to your skyship before it is too late." Ethan felt his heart pound in his chest. This was more than a simple misunderstanding. "Please," he said, taking a careful step forward. "I need to know why. What is so dangerous about my name?" She backed away, shaking her head. "It is not safe to speak here. They will feel it. They will come." "Who will come?" Ethan asked. But she didn't answer. Instead, she turned and moved swiftly back into the crystalline forest. It was like the trees swallowed her whole, her form blending with the glowing light until she vanished from sight. Ethan stood there, frozen. His mind raced. What had just happened? Why did his name mean so much to her? Was it a coincidence, or was there something more? He looked around the valley again, but she was gone. He thought about returning to his ship, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He couldn't leave now, not when he had stumbled on something so strange, so important. He tapped his recorder. Encountered sentient life, he said, his voice quiet but steady. First contact successful. But strange, local resident recognized my name and called it forbidden. Subject reacted with fear. Need to investigate further. He stopped the recording and looked at the forest where she had disappeared. The word forbidden echoed in his mind. What could it mean? The wind, if it was wind, shifted, and the crystal branches made a soft, humming sound, like they were alive and whispering to one another. Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. Something about this place was more than it seemed. Something connected his name to their world, their people, and he was going to find out what. Ethan could not sleep that night. He sat inside his ship, staring at the glowing forest outside. The image of the alien woman kept replaying in his mind, her wide, luminous eyes, her trembling voice, and the way she whispered that his name was forbidden. He had explored strange worlds before. He had met creatures who saw him as a threat or curiosity. But this felt different. This was personal. He leaned back in the pilot's chair, rubbing his temples. Why would my name matter here? He muttered to himself. It made no sense. The universe was vast. How could his name mean anything to these people? The ship's systems hummed quietly, scanning the planet's surface. But Ethan couldn't focus on the data. His mind kept going back to her words. If the others hear that name, they will not let you live. Who were these others? Her people? Some kind of leaders? And why would they want to harm him just for saying his name? He needed answers. When the alien sun rose again, casting golden light across the crystalline trees, Ethan geared up and stepped out of his ship. The forest was quiet, too quiet. It was as if the whole place was holding its breath. He retraced his steps to where he had first seen her. He stood there for a long moment, scanning the area. I don't know if you can hear me, he said aloud, but I need to talk to you. I don't want trouble. I just want to understand. At first, there was no response, but then, faintly, he heard movement, light footsteps on the soft moss. He turned, and there she was again. The alien woman stood several paces away, half hidden by the glowing trees. She looked nervous, glancing around as if afraid of being seen. Ethan kept his hands visible and spoke softly. Thank you for coming back. I need to know what you meant yesterday. Why is my name forbidden here? She didn't come closer, but she didn't run away either. Her voice was quiet, but firm. You should not be here. It is dangerous for you. I can take care of myself, Ethan said. But I need to know the truth, please. You said my name is forbidden. Why? She hesitated, then sighed softly. You are human. From the sky. Yes, Ethan said. I'm from Earth. My people explore new worlds. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Your people came before. Long ago. Ethan felt a chill. Humans, here? When before my mother's time, she said slowly, as if choosing her words carefully. They came from the stars. They walked among us, and one of them had your name. Ethan blinked. Someone named Ethan? She nodded. He tried to process that. A human named Ethan had been here before. It sounded impossible. What did he do? He asked. Her face darkened. He brought death. The words hit Ethan like a blow. Death. She closed her eyes, as if the memory still haunted her people. He took from us. He promised to help us. But instead, he betrayed us. Many suffered because of him. My people swore never to speak that name again. It became a curse, a warning. Ethan stood in silence, his heart pounding. Could this be true? Could another human, someone with his name, really have been here so long ago? He thought of the vast records of Earth's spacefaring history. There were missions lost, Explorers who disappeared without a trace. Could one of them have found this place? I'm not him, Ethan said firmly. I don't know who that was, but I'm not here to hurt anyone. I came in peace. She opened her eyes. Studying him carefully, you speak as if you are different. But names carry weight here, and yours brings fear. Ethan took a careful step closer. Then help me. Tell me everything. If someone with my name hurt your people, I need to know why. Maybe I can make it right. She hesitated, glancing over her shoulder toward the deeper forest. If the elders know I speak to you, they will punish me, she said. But I do not believe all of your kind are the same. I will tell you what I can. Ethan nodded. Grateful. Thank you. She moved closer now, though still keeping some distance between them. My name is Serenia, she said softly. Serenia, Ethan repeated. It felt good to finally know her name. She pointed toward the glowing forest beyond. Our people live in the city of Leora. It is not far, but you cannot go there. Not yet. They would see you as a danger. Then how do I learn the truth? Ethan asked. She thought for a moment, then said, There is a place, the Crystal Nexus. It is sacred. It holds the memories of our past. If you truly wish to know why your name is forbidden, that is where you must go. Ethan frowned. Sacred. Will they allow me there? She shook her head. No. It is forbidden for outsiders. But I can take you there in secret. Ethan exhaled slowly. This was risky, but he couldn't turn back now. When do we leave? He asked. Serenia looked toward the horizon, where the light of the alien sun was fading to shades of green and blue at night. The Guardians will not see us then. Ethan nodded. I'll be ready. She gave him one last glance, part cautious, part curious, before disappearing back into the forest. Ethan stood there for a long moment, staring at where she had been. His thoughts were a storm. A human had been here before. Someone with his name. Someone who betrayed them. But why? And why did it feel like his being here now was no coincidence? As he walked back to his ship to prepare for the journey, one thing became clear in his mind. Whatever this crystal nexus was, it held the answers, and he would find them, no matter the cost. The night on this world was unlike anything Ethan had seen before. The alien sun had disappeared beyond the horizon, and the sky shimmered with ribbons of light that moved like slow rivers. It was beautiful and unsettling at the same time. The glowing moss under his boots lit the ground softly, so they didn't need torches. The crystalline trees hummed faintly, their branches swaying even though there was no wind. It felt like the entire forest was alive and watching them. Serenia moved ahead, her steps light and silent. She seemed completely at home here, moving like someone who had walked these paths her whole life. Ethan followed, careful not to make noise. She had warned him that the Guardians could be nearby. He didn't fully understand what these Guardians were, but her serious tone told him they weren't people he wanted to meet. How far is it? Ethan whispered. Not far, she replied softly, not looking back. But we must be careful. The Guardians protect the Nexus. They do not forgive intruders. Her words made him tense. He glanced around, scanning for movement. His helmet sensors showed no life forms nearby. But this forest had already proven that his technology couldn't detect everything. As they walked, Ethan noticed more of the strange crystalline growths. Some of the trees were massive, their trunks wide as buildings, with veins of soft blue light running through them. Others were small and thin, like delicate glass sculptures. When he reached out to touch one, it felt warm, almost like skin. They are alive, Serenia said when she saw him touch it. Ethan pulled his hand back. Alive? Like plants? She shook her head slightly. More than plants, they are connected. All of them. They share thoughts, memories. They are the heart of our world. That made Ethan pause. He thought about Earth's ancient myths of world trees, great networks that connected everything. Could this place really have something like that? Is that why you call it the Nexus? He asked. Yes, Serenia said. The Nexus is where their connection is strongest. It remembers everything. It remembers the first visitors from the stars. It remembers the one who bore your name. Her words sent a shiver through him. He had so many questions, but Serenia moved quickly, avoiding long conversations as they traveled. She was cautious, always glancing around, listening for sounds. Ethan couldn't hear. They reached a wide clearing after some time. In the center stood a massive tree, taller than any building Ethan had seen. Its trunk glowing with swirling patterns of light. It wasn't like the other crystalline trees. It was more vibrant, more alive. Even from a distance, Ethan could feel a strange pull, like the tree was calling to him. "That is the Nexus," Serenia whispered. Kneeling slightly in respect, Ethan stared at it, awestruck. "It's incredible." Serenia nodded. "It holds the truth of our past. But we must be quick. The Guardians may sense us." She led him toward the tree. As they got closer, Ethan noticed the ground changing. The moss was brighter, forming glowing patterns that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The air grew warmer, and a faint hum surrounded them. "Do you hear that?" he asked. Serenia glanced at him. "It speaks to those who listen. But do not answer. It will know you or not. One of us." When they reached the base of the Nexus, Serenia placed her hand against its surface. The glowing patterns on the trunk shifted, spreading out from her touch. Ethan felt a vibration under his feet, as if the tree was alive and aware of their presence. Serenia closed her eyes, whispering in her language. The tree responded, its light growing brighter. "Step closer," she said to Ethan. "Place your hand here." Ethan hesitated. "Are you sure it's safe?" She gave him a small nod. "It will not harm you. Not if your intentions are true." Taking a deep breath, Ethan reached out and pressed his hand against the warm surface of the Nexus. The moment he touched it, his mind exploded with images. He saw flashes of strange cities built of crystal, glowing under alien suns. He saw the Alari, Serenia's people, living in harmony with the forest, their lives intertwined with these living trees. He saw starships, human starships, descending from the sky long ago. And then he saw him dot another man, human, dressed in old Earth explorer gear. He couldn't make out his face clearly, but the name echoed in Ethan's head. Ethan. The other Ethan. He watched the man walk among the Alari, smiling, shaking hands, earning their trust. But then the images turned darker. He saw the man stealing something, a glowing core taken from the Nexus itself. He saw the Alari screaming, the forest burning, the crystals dimming. The betrayal had been devastating. Ethan stumbled back, gasping, pulling his hand away. His heart pounded in his chest. What was that?" he said, his voice shaking. Serenia looked at him with sad eyes. "You saw the truth. You saw what your kind did." He shook his head. "That wasn't me. I don't know who that man was, but I'm not him. The Nexus does not lie," Serenia said quietly. "The one who bore your name brought ruin to our people. That is why it is forbidden. That is why they will fear you." Ethan sat on the glowing moss, trying to steady his breathing. It felt like too much to take in. Another human had been here, someone with his name, and that person had caused destruction. So great that centuries later, the memory still haunted this world. But why did they share a name? Was it coincidence or something more? Serenia crouched beside him. "You should leave before the elders discover you. They will not forgive you for stepping into this place." Ethan looked at the Nexus again. The glowing patterns seemed to pulse, like it was alive, like it was aware of him. "No," he said finally, his voice firm. "I can't leave. Not yet. I need to know more. I need to understand why that man was here and why I share his name. I need to fix this." Serenia hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Then you must prepare yourself. The truth you seek is dangerous, and the path forward will not be easy." Ethan stood, determination building inside him. He didn't know what answers the Nexus still held, but he was ready to find out. The images from the Nexus stayed in Ethan's mind long after he and Serenia left the clearing. Even as they walked through the glowing forest in silence, he couldn't push them away. He had seen the betrayal with his own eyes, the human who shared his name stealing from the Alari, destroying their trust and their home. He wanted to ask Serenia more questions, but she seemed deep in thought. Her expression was tense, her gaze darting toward the shadows between the crystal trees. She was listening for something Ethan couldn't hear. Finally, she spoke. We should not stay near the Nexus for long. The Guardians will know someone. Was there? Ethan looked around uneasily. You keep mentioning these Guardians. What are they? People not people, she said softly. The forest protects itself. The Guardians are made flesh. They serve the Nexus. They do. Not forgive trespassers. Ethan's stomach tightened. So there was more to fear than just angry elders. Have you seen them before? Yes, Serenia said. Once. That was enough. Her words sent a chill through him. He decided not to ask further. When they reached the edge of the forest, Serenia stopped and turned to him. You cannot stay hidden forever. The elders will know someone like you is here. They feel such things through the Nexus. Then I need to talk to them, Ethan said. Serenia's eyes widened. No, if you reveal yourself now, they will kill you. They will not listen to your words, Ethan sighed. Then how am I supposed to clear my name? I can't just run away. Serenia frowned. You do not understand. This is not only about your name. It is about what you are. A human. My people fear you will bring more ruin. Ethan clenched his fists. Then let me prove them wrong. Serenia looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether he was foolish or brave. Finally, she nodded. Perhaps there is a way. But first, you must know the danger we face. What danger? Ethan asked. She turned her gaze. To the horizon, the alien sky was shifting again. Streaks of green and red dancing across it like restless rivers. The void storm, she said quietly. Ethan frowned. Void storm, she nodded. It is a force from beyond the stars. It devours everything. Land, sky, life. It comes every 1,000 cycles. And it is coming again. Ethan's chest tightened. How do you know? The Nexus told us, Serenia said. It showed us the signs. The storm grows stronger with each passing day. Ethan thought about the humming crystals, the pulsing light, the way the tree had seemed alive. If this Nexus truly stored memories and knowledge, maybe it could sense things long before anyone else. How do your people plan to survive? Ethan asked. Serenia lowered her head. The elders say we must accept what comes. They believe it is judgment. They will do nothing. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. Nothing. They're just going to wait for the storm to destroy them. She nodded sadly. It is the way of my people. To resist is to defy the will of the Nexus. Ethan shook his head. That's insane. There has to be a way to stop it. Serenia hesitated. Perhaps. But only the Nexus holds that power, and to use it would require a great cost. Ethan frowned. What kind of cost? She didn't answer, which worried him even more. They continued walking until the glowing trees gave way to open land. In the distance, Ethan saw faint lights, a city, tall, slender towers made of the same crystal as the trees rose toward the sky, their surfaces shimmering like water. It looked almost unreal, as if it had been grown rather than built. Leora, Serenia said softly. My home. Ethan stared in awe. It's beautiful. She gave a small smile. It is all we have left, and soon, even it may be gone. As they approached the city, Serenia grew nervous. You must stay hidden. If anyone sees you, they will raise the alarm. Ethan nodded. Where do we go? To the edge of the council hall, she said. I will speak to the elders alone. If I can make them listen, maybe they will let you speak. But you must not reveal yourself unless I say. Ethan didn't like the idea of hiding while she faced danger alone, but he trusted her judgment. All right, he said. I'll wait. They reached the city quietly, slipping through shadowed paths until they were near a towering structure that pulsed with soft blue light. Serenia stopped. Stay here, she whispered. Do not move. Ethan crouched behind a cluster of crystal pillars as she walked toward the hall. He watched as she disappeared inside, her form blending with the shimmering walls. Minutes passed. Then more. Ethan's nerves grew worse with every second. He could hear faint voices inside, though he couldn't make out the words. Then the voices grew louder. Serenia emerged, but she wasn't alone. Several Alari followed her, tall, regal figures with glowing eyes and elaborate markings across their skin. They wore flowing garments that looked ceremonial. Their expressions were hard, unreadable. Ethan tensed. They know, Serenia said, her voice trembling. They know you are here. The tallest elder stepped forward, his voice deep and commanding. Human, he said, his gaze scanning the shadows where Ethan hid. Come out, now. Ethan hesitated, but there was no use hiding anymore. He stepped out slowly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. The elders stared at him, their expressions cold. So it is true, the leader said. The cursed name returns. The destroyer walks among us again. I'm not who you think. I am, Ethan said firmly. I'm not that man. I came here to help. The elder's eyes narrowed. You think you can help? You, whose name brought us ruin. You bring only more doom. Ethan met his gaze without flinching. Then let me prove you wrong. Let me help you survive the storm. A murmur ran through the gathered Alari. The elder stared at him for a long moment before finally saying, You dare speak of saving us? Then you will face the trial. If the Nexus accepts you, we may listen. If it rejects you, your life is forfeit. Ethan's heart pounded. But he didn't back down. Then I'll take your trial. The air inside the council hall was heavy. Ethan could feel the weight of many eyes on him as he stood before the elders of the Alari. The tallest elder, who had spoken to him outside, remained silent for a long moment, as if studying him. Finally, he raised a hand, and the whispers among the other Alari stopped. You claim you can save us. The elder said, his voice deep and echoing through the crystalline chamber. Yet you carry the cursed name. The Nexus remembers what your kind did. Why should we let you live? Ethan forced himself to remain calm. Because I'm not him. He said, I am not the man who betrayed you. I want to make things right. I saw what he did. The Nexus showed me. The elder's glowing eyes narrowed. And you think you can undo centuries of pain with words? No, Ethan replied. Not with words, with action. For a moment, the elder simply stared at him. Then he said, Very well. If you wish to prove yourself, you must face the trial of the Nexus. It will see into your soul. It will decide whether you are worthy. But know this, human, the Nexus shows no mercy. If it finds darkness within you, it will consume you. Ethan's pulse quickened. He thought of the visions he had already seen when he touched the Nexus. That brief contact had nearly overwhelmed him. What would it do to him if he let it fully into his mind? But he couldn't back down. I'll take the trial, he said. The elder raised his staff, its crystalline top glowing brighter. Then it is decided. At first light, you will enter the Nexus. If it accepts you, perhaps we will listen to your words. If it rejects you, you will not leave alive. Ethan nodded. He had no other choice. Serenia walked with him as the elders dismissed them. She looked worried. Do you understand what you've agreed to? She asked as they stepped back into the cool night air. Not really, Ethan admitted. But I know I can't walk away. Not when there's a chance I can help you. Serenia stopped. Turning to face him, Ethan, the Nexus doesn't just read your memories. It takes you apart. It pulls out everything you are, your past, your fears, your intentions. If it sees even a shadow of betrayal, it will destroy you. Ethan exhaled slowly. Sounds like I don't have much room for mistakes. She lowered her gaze. I should not care. But I do not want to see you die. Her words surprised him. You don't even know me. I know enough, she said. Softly. They didn't speak much after that. Serenia led him to a quiet shelter on the edge of the city where he could rest. But Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what he'd seen in the Nexus. The man with his name, stealing the glowing core and leaving chaos behind. Why did they share a name? Was it just coincidence? Or was there some strange connection between them? As dawn approached, Serenia returned. She brought him simple food and water. Though Ethan could barely eat, it is time, she said quietly. They walked together toward the heart of the forest. The Nexus loomed in the distance, glowing brighter than before as if it already knew he was coming. The closer they got, the heavier the air felt. It was like stepping into the presence of something greater than himself. When they reached the Nexus, the elders were already waiting. The tallest one stepped forward. Human, he said. Step forward. Place your hand on the core. Let the Nexus see you. Ethan approached the massive crystalline trunk. Its surface pulsed with shifting light, almost like it was breathing. His heart pounded as he placed his palm against it. The world dissolved suddenly. Ethan was no longer standing in the forest. He was floating in a vast void of light and shadow. Images surrounded him, memories, moments from his past. He saw his childhood, his training as an explorer, the friends he had lost along the way. The Nexus wasn't just showing him his life, it was pulling it out of him, piece by piece. Then the visions changed. He saw the other Ethan again, the one who had betrayed the Alari. This time the image was clearer. He saw his face, older, hardened, desperate. The man wasn't stealing out of greed. He was taking the core for survival. Ethan saw images of a dying ship, a crew on the brink of death. A choice between their lives and the Alari's trust. Ethan's chest tightened. This man hadn't been a monster. He had been desperate, but his actions had doomed an entire people. The Nexus's voice, or something like a voice, echoed in his mind. Do you understand? Yes, Ethan said aloud, though his voice felt small in the void. He did terrible things, but I am not him. I am here to fix what he broke. The light around him shifted, growing brighter. Would you give yourself to save them? The question hit him hard. He thought about the void storm Serenia had described. He saw flashes of it now, devouring everything in its path, the forest, the city, the people. He knew what the Nexus was asking. It wanted him to connect to it fully, to merge with its living network. To do that meant giving up his life as he knew it. Ethan swallowed hard. If that's what it takes, yes. The brightness intensified until it felt like fire on his skin. He could feel the Nexus inside him now, digging deeper, testing every part of his mind. It showed him every choice he had ever made, every failure, every fear. It felt endless. But through it all, he held on to one thought. I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to protect. Then the light calmed. Ethan felt his feet on the ground again. The forest returned. He was back, standing at the base of the Nexus. His hand still pressed against it. His breathing was heavy, his body trembling. The elders were staring at him in shock. The Nexus has spoken, the tallest one said finally. It does not reject you. It accepts you. Serenia stepped closer, relief in her eyes. You did it, she whispered. Ethan lowered his hand, still shaking. What happens now? The elder's expression grew grave. Now, you carry its burden. You are bound to the Nexus. You hold its power within you. And with that power, you may stop the void storm. But the cost will be great. Ethan swallowed, steadying himself. Tell me what I have to do. Ethan felt strange as he walked away from the Nexus with Serenia. His body was his own. But something inside him had changed. It was as if the Nexus was still there in his mind. A quiet hum in the back of his thoughts. He could feel the forest differently now. The glow of the trees, the hum of the crystals, even the faint vibration of the ground beneath his feet. It all felt alive, and he could sense it. Serenia walked beside him silently for a long time. At last, she spoke. The Nexus accepted. You. That has never happened for one of your kind. Ethan gave a small nod. It asked me if I was willing to give myself to save you. I said yes. Her steps slowed. Do you know what that means? Ethan glanced at her. Not completely. But I'm guessing it's not good for me. Serenia stopped walking and turned to face him. Ethan. The Nexus does not ask questions without purpose. If it asks you that, it means it wants you to join with it fully, to become part of its network. That is the only way you can wield its power against the void storm. Her words sank into him like heavy stones. If I join with it, he said slowly, I won't be me anymore. Will I? She lowered her gaze. You will live on, but not as yourself. You will become one with the Nexus. You will exist everywhere and nowhere. You will lose your body, your voice, your humanity. Ethan felt his stomach twist. He had known there would be a cost, but this was more than he had imagined. He would be giving up his life, not in death, but in a way that might be even harder. Is there no other way? He asked. Serenia shook her head. The storm cannot be stopped by our people. It is too great. Only the Nexus has the power to hold it back, but it needs a living mind to guide it. That is why it chose you. Ethan rubbed his face, pacing a little. So I either do this, or everyone here dies. Serenia nodded. Yes. He looked up at the sky. It was still beautiful, with its glowing streaks of color. But now he understood what was coming. Somewhere beyond that horizon, the void storm was growing, devouring everything in its path. How long do we have? Ethan asked. 2 cycles, Serenia said softly. 2 days in your time. Then it will be here. 2 days. That wasn't long. They continued toward the city, and the elders were waiting. Ethan could tell from their faces that they already knew what the Nexus had told him. You understand the cost, the tallest elder said. Yes. Ethan said, if I join with the Nexus, I can save you, but I won't be myself anymore. The elder inclined his head. That is the choice, to give your life so that others may live. Ethan crossed his arms. Why me? Why didn't it choose one of you? The Nexus does not choose lightly, the elder said. It chose you because it sees in you what it saw in the first Ethan long ago, the strength to act. But unlike him, you must not fail. The mention of the other Ethan still burned in his mind. The man had made his choice out of desperation, saving his crew but destroying Serenia's people in the process. Now Ethan was faced with a similar decision, but the scale was so much greater. Serenia stepped forward. Elders, give me time. With him, he should not make this choice alone. The elders gave a nod, and Ethan followed her out of the hall. They walked together until they reached a quiet place near the edge of the city. From there, they could see the vast forest and the Nexus glowing in the distance. Are you afraid? Serenia asked softly. Ethan let out a small laugh. Terrified. I signed up to explore new worlds, not become part of one. She gave a faint smile. You are braver than I thought. Ethan shook his head. I'm not brave. I'm just trying to do the right thing. They sat in silence for a while. Then Ethan said, Serenia, if I do this, I need you to promise me something. She turned to him. What? Don't let them forget me, he said. Not like the other Ethan. Tell them I didn't come here to destroy. Tell them I came to save you. Serenia's eyes softened. I promise your name will no longer be a curse. It will be remembered as the one who gave us life. The words hit him harder than he expected. He had never cared much about legacy, but now, facing the end of himself, it mattered. As the alien night fell, Ethan stayed awake, watching the sky. He thought of Earth, of the people he'd never see again, of the life he'd be giving up. He thought of Serenia and her people, their glowing city, their living forest. He thought of the other Ethan and wondered if that man had felt this same weight. Before making his choice. By dawn, he had his answer. When Serenia came to meet him, she saw it in his eyes. You've decided, she said. Ethan nodded. I'll do it. They walked together back to the Nexus. The elders were waiting, solemn and silent. The tallest elder stepped forward. You're ready? He asked. Yes, Ethan said, his voice steady. What do I need to do? The elder raised his staff. Place your hand upon the core once more. But this time, do not resist. Open yourself completely. Let the Nexus take you in. Ethan turned to Serenia one last time. Take care of them, he said. She reached out, placing her hand over his. You are not the destroyer. You are the savior. Thank you, Ethan. He managed a small smile. Then he stepped forward and placed his hand on the glowing surface of the Nexus. The hum grew louder, filling his ears, his mind, his whole being. The light consumed him, pulling him away from himself, unraveling his thoughts until there was no Ethan core, only something greater. The Nexus welcomed him. The moment Ethan let go of himself, the world around him dissolved again. There was no forest, no sky, no body, only light, endless and consuming. But this time, he did not fight it. He let the Nexus take him, let it peel back the layers of his being until everything he was, his memories, his fears, his hopes, floated in the vast network of the living crystal. It was overwhelming at first. The Nexus was not a single voice, but millions. each one carrying the thoughts and memories of those who had come before. The Alari of the past were here, their lives echoing through the great connection. The forest itself spoke in feelings and pulses of energy, like a living heartbeat. You are one of us now, the Nexus said, or perhaps it wasn't a voice at all but a thought that filled his entire being. Ethan felt his fear fade. He was no longer only himself. He was part of something larger, something timeless, but there was no time to rest. In the distance, if distance meant anything here, he felt the void storm. It was not just a storm, but a hunger, a great emptiness devouring everything in its path. He could feel its pull on the world, feel the terror of every living thing sensing its approach. He understood his purpose now. The Nexus showed him how to use its power. It was not like operating a machine or giving commands. It was like moving his own limbs. Like breathing. The entire network of crystalline trees, the city of Leora, even the roots deep within the planet. All of it was now part of him. He focused on the storm. The Nexus began to gather its strength. The glowing trees pulsed brighter, their light spreading like rivers through the forest. Crystalline towers in Leora shimmered, sending waves of energy into the ground. The entire world came alive, uniting against the coming destruction. In the city, Serenia stood with the elders at the highest balcony, watching as the light of the Nexus spread. She felt it, his presence, now part of everything he has become. The bridge, one of the elders whispered. Serenia closed her eyes, tears running down her cheeks. Ethan, thank you. Above them, the sky darkened. The void storm had arrived. It was massive, stretching across the horizon, a swirling mass of shadow and unlight that devoured the stars themselves. It roared with a sound that was not sound, but a feeling, despair, hunger, annihilation. The Alari fell to their knees, some weeping, others whispering prayers. But Serenia did not bow. She stood tall, her eyes on the glowing Nexus. She trusted him. Ethan felt the storm crash against the edges of the Nexus's energy field. It was stronger than anything he had imagined, a force that wanted to consume not just matter, but memory, life, meaning itself. Hold. He told himself. We hold. The Nexus reached deep into the planet, pulling energy from every living crystal, every root, every connection. The power flowed through him like fire, almost unbearable. But he kept going. He anchored himself in the one thought that mattered. They must live. The storm pushed harder. He felt parts of himself unraveling under the strain, his human memories, Earth, his childhood, the faces of people he loved, began to blur. But he refused to let go of his purpose. Then he felt something else, Serenia. Though she could not touch the Nexus as he did, her thoughts reached him faintly. A soft thread in the endless network. You are not forgotten. Her voice whispered in his mind. You are not the destroyer. You are a savior. The words gave him strength. The Nexus surged, its light bursting upward into the sky like a pillar. It met the storm head-on, not as a single point, but as an entire living world fighting back. The ground trembled. The air burned. Energy cracked through the clouds like lightning. For a moment, it felt like the storm would win. Its hunger was endless. But Ethan reached deeper, into the roots of the Nexus, into the memories of every Alari who had ever been connected to it, into the life of the planet itself. He became all of them, and they became him. And together, they pushed back. The storm shrieked, not with sound, but with a sudden, sharp emptiness, and began to tear apart. The Nexus's light cut through it, scattering its darkness piece by piece until only fragments remained. Those fragments dissolved into nothingness, leaving behind a clear, still sky. It was over. The world was safe. In Leora, the Alari looked up in awe as the storm vanished. Their city glowed brighter than ever, the light of the Nexus washing over them. Cheers and cries of joy rose through the streets. But Serenia did not cheer. She ran. She ran to the forest, to the base of the Nexus, her feet barely touching the glowing ground. When she reached it, she placed her hand on the trunk. Ethan. She whispered, "Are you there?" There was no reply, not in the way she hoped, but then she felt a warmth in her mind. A gentle pulse of thought that was not her own. Se or Enya. Her breath caught. You're still here. I am, he said, though his voice was different now, softer, like it came from everywhere at once. But I am not who I was. I am part of this world now. Her tears fell freely. You saved us. You gave everything. It was worth it, he said. Promise me you will live. Build something better. Make sure my choice meant something. I promise, she whispered. The Nexus pulsed with light, like a final heartbeat of acknowledgement. And then the presence faded into the network. Ethan was still there, everywhere, watching over them. But he was no longer just a man. He was the Nexus. In the days that followed, the Alari rebuilt their lives, stronger than before. They spoke of the human who had given himself for their survival. His name, once cursed, became sacred. And when Serenia stood before the elders, she said, Ethan is no longer the destroyer. He is our guardian, the one who became the Nexus. And in the living hum of the crystals, a quiet voice whispered through the network, watching over them forever. I am here.